Hello, Terry. I guess we can call today Muddy Monday.
That's it. It's really muddy there, Parx.
Mhm.
I'll tell you, it rained
At
really
Parx.
bad.
Yeah, rain. It's a big card today. Was there 12 races or something like that on the card today?
There's 12 races.
Indeed. And a couple of, I think there's a quartet of stakes races too.
Yeah.
So I know that two of them were supposed to be on the turf, but with the slop, they're not running on the grass today, folks. It's going to be a muddy mess in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, in the suburbs of Philadelphia. Before we go on to the picks, Terry, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was not bad. Didn't do too much. Just tried to catch up on some personal chores, that kind of stuff. We did go to my great granddaughter's birthday on Saturday, and that was a lot of fun. So,
all right. Well, let's have some fun at Parx today, my friend.
All right. Sounds
Race
good.
number 1 at Parx today is 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. It's going to be muddy. I don't think there were any scratches in race number 1, surprisingly. So if we look here quickly at the last 30 days, so the last month of the post position and racing bias in terms of first call, we see that you probably want to have an inside 3 draw, but 1 through 5 seem to be okay. But if you notice here, Terry, the horse that was first at the first call won 44% of the recent races. That's a lot.
It is. And you've got a lot of races there, 38 races to compare it to. So.
Yes, and the average odds are 9-2 with the median odds of 5-2. So that tells me that they're horses that aren't that, not too many long shots coming in, but again, still maybe a little bit of value there. We look at our early pace race. You see here that we have quite a few horses in this group. Again, just a quick recap. E are horses that probably need to lead to win. EP can be either on the lead or sit off the lead. Pressure horses like to sit behind the leaders. Pressure closers are the type that can either press the lead if the pace is too slow or be patient if it's too fast. Here we have horses that look to me like closers. The sideways arrows on these maiden claiming races mean these are horses that are running basically at the same level. Down arrow indicating they're dropping in class. The 7 gets the rare NC, means it's never been close. So we take a look at this race, Terry. We see a lot of horses in here that want to close. One that does have a particular pace advantage, the early pace at 2 and 4 furlongs in the mud. The other horses might not like the kickback that they see there, Terry.
That's right. So anyway, so I like to start out with, I like the number 6 horse to start with, and named Dubrovnik. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and he has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And then I like the number, 8 horse.
Yeah, just read off the numbers. I'll type them in, Terry.
Okay, I like the number 8 horse.
Mm-hmm.
And whoops, we're in the wrong race there.
Yeah, you're right about that. 6-8.
Okay. All right. So I like the number 8 horse, 2 Color Map. He finished third versus Tougher in his last race, drops in class today, has the highest last race speed rating. He's tied with the number 6 horse and has a trainer who wins 21% of the starts in mating claiming races, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like the number 2 horse, Social Joe. He has finished in the money in 3 out of 9 starts at Parx Racing and drops in class today. Mm-hmm. And then I like number 3, Kane. He is a closer who has finished in the money in 2 out of 5 starts today at today's distance and switches to a high percentage winning jockey.
All right. For me, I'm going to start with number 8. As I mentioned in the pace workshop, this one does have an early pace advantage at 2 and 4 furlongs. So it's not going to be worried about mud splashing up in its face. Also has an early pace, late pace combination advantage of a +2. So 5 points clear of the next closest horse. It is the only true class dropper in the field that tied for the top last race speed figure and did so with better fractions at 6.5 furlongs than it did in its previous start at 5.5 furlongs. Number 2, Social Joe does have a late pace edge at the distance 5 times a second and a couple of thirds. A pair of thirds and fourths in the last 3 starts at this level. Number 1, Renee's ZVA. I guess I don't know what the hell that means, but has the second best early pace, late pace combination in the field And I think the Real Post could help in this spot. And number 6, your top choice is my 4th choice in here. That's Dubrovnik. This one is a Monmouth Park track dropper. Did tie for the top last race speed figure with my 8 horse and was much improved towards the end of its last start. Race number 2, Terry.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Race 2 is a 6.5 furlongs. It's a claiming for $8,000, a purse of 35 grand. And if we take a look at what the 6.5 furlongs looks like here, they've run only 9 races, surprisingly. The average odds, just like the previous race, are 9-2, the median odds being 5-2. Here we see again that it looks to me like it doesn't really. This looks like a fair race to me, except somehow the 2 Post hasn't won a race. But speed doesn't matter where you are. I think this is a case where the best horse wins, probably, Terry. And in race number 2, again, we don't get any scratches. And we see again that we don't have a whole lot of early speed in here, although the 4 and the 6 do have the best early paces, probably compete for the lead. We get our first instance of a left arrow horse today with the 2, typically a closer, but its early pace figure should put it in contention with the 4 and the 6. And the late pace belongs to the 7 and the 9. All right, Terry, how do you play this one out?
Well, this is my box it up bet, and so I like the.
What are the 4 numbers?
Yeah, I like the 1 with the 4 with the 5 with the 7.
All right.
And then I like the 1, Sad. He won his last 2 races in a row, so now he's going to for a hat trick at Parx Racing. Has the highest last speed rating, and the Real Post is winning at a 20% clip. And then number 4, Genghis. He finished 3rd versus Tougher in his last race. Drops in class today. Has a high percentage winning trainer. Then I like number 5, Magatron. He drops in class today, and he's going at a distance that I think better suits him. And then number 7, What's to Blame? He has finished in the money in 5 out of 12 starts at Parx Racing and has won 2 of those starts at today's distance.
Yes, what's to blame? Usually it should be who's to blame, and that's ordinarily the guy, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go off with number 3, Compound It. Come on, man. I need one more screen, Terry, because I press a button and my things jump all around if I'm not in the right screen. Number 3, Compound It. It's supposed to rain. It is raining. It's sloppy as heck. 2 for 2 on an off track. I said downgraded if the weatherman is wrong, but today the weatherman is correct. Number 9. I don't know. Do we look at the same races here, Terry?
I don't know. It looks pretty wide open, doesn't it?
The Right Path has the top late pace and early pace combination in the field. I'm not a fan of the winless Post being the 9, but did tie for the top last race speed figure and showed a little bit better fractions last out. My next horse in here in race number 2 is your 1 horse, Ashad, dropping in off the win after going wire to wire last time out, and is the lone EP horse in the field, meaning it can close, meaning it can either take the lead or if it's going a little bit too quick, sit off and be patient. And then number 8, boy, we have 1 horse that we agree on here, Terry. I don't know what that means for your box it up. I hope it means that I'm wrong and you're right. But Horse Greedy does have a very good work on September the 17th, dropping multiple classes for trainer Bonnie Lucas. She hasn't won any of those, 0 for 12, but did finish in the money, 6 out of 12, so 50%. Ties for the top early pace, late pace combination in the field, and has both of those horses, the 9 and the 1, when you put together early pace and late pace, have a double plus advantage, meaning they score 10 points higher than the next closest horse. Race number 3, 6.5 furlongs again, Terry. This one is a claiming for 5,000, purse of 30 grand, non-winners of 1 in a lifetime. And if we look at 6.5 furlongs again, you see here, same thing as we saw last time. I think it's a pretty fair distance, Terry, not going to really hurt anybody. Race number 3, I think, is the first instances of scratches today. Yes, indeed. You see the 9 horse, one that might have been able to set the pace all by itself out of the race. The 1 horse, which was a left arrow horse that was probably going to compete for the lead out of the race. So I think some significant scratches here. The 7 horse does have a little bit of early pace, but the 2 catches at left arrow, probably going to move forward. Challenge for the lead. The 4 horse is out of this race. I accidentally scratched out the 6, but he's still in this spot, Terry.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you see race number 3 playing out?
Okay, on race number 3, I start out with number 8, Boat Over the Hill. He's finished in the money in his last 3 races at Parx Racing, finishing third versus similar in his last race, and at today's distance, which will not be a problem. Number 7, Tomato Gator. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance and the best dirt speed or figure in the field. Then I like as my third pick, number 2, Caden's Courage. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has done well at Parx Racing in the past. And then I like the 5-horse Empire Score. He ran second versus similar in his last race, drops in class today, has the highest last speed rating, and has a trainer wins 33% of the races with a horse in its second start with that trainer.
So Sean Nolan says the Boat of the Hill is his play of the day in race number 3. Good morning, Charles. How are you? Like Charles and Sean, if you have any thoughts you want to share with us on the comment section, any picks that you like, it's a community. We're all here to try to find more winners. So if you have some winners in your bag, please let us know. Don't be shy, right? No one's going to come looking for you if you're wrong. They come looking for Terry and I. Know that actually we don't. We really appreciate all the thumbs up we get. So if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube as well. If you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5,000 in 2023. We certainly appreciate all your help in that. For me, in race number 3, Terry, I am going to start with number 2 horse. That is Caden's Courage. Caden's Courage is one of 4 left arrow horses. Did show better 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers in his last. Better 6 furlong fractions at 7 furlongs, if that makes sense. So the 6 furlong fraction at 7 furlongs was better than the 6 furlong fraction at 6 furlongs. It's kind of confusing if you can't keep up, if I can't get it out right. The favorite name of the day today is Tomato Gator. Is my second choice here. Is the Lone EP horse, another left arrow horse in the field. Real nice workouts between races. Here's Sean Nolan's top pick, Terry's top pick. Boat Over the Hill does have the top late pace numbers in this group. Very consistent horse. So it's not you're going to have to beat it. It's not going to give you an up and down effort. At the distance twice with a second and a third. I think, unfortunately, rallies for a piece of the gimmick, but when, in Tom's words, probably not. But Terry and Sean are on it, so I hope I'm wrong again. And then finally, number 5, Empire Score did run the top last race speed figure. Resume says the second off the bench is likely to be very similar to what we saw in that first race off the bench.
Yep.
Race 4 is a 1 mile, 70-yard race, claiming $7,500. Non-winners of 3 lifetime. Again, back to 1 mile and 70 yards. We see that probably the key here is speed kills. Inside speed probably at that, because the first 3 posts have won most of the races. In the last month, in the 38 races, 44, almost 45% were won by horses that were on the lead, Terry. So I think that where you're going to be positioned out of the gates is going to be a big deal. Race number 4, one of those horses that had a chance to be on the lead, scratched out. That means the 1 horse probably becomes that horse that goes to the lead and then by default gets a 45% chance to win, Terry. 9 horse is another one that shows some early speed as well. But if you look down here on the way home, the 7, the 8, the 4, the 3, the 10, and the 1 all have some very similar late pace numbers. So I think this is one, if you get forwardly placed, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of switching in terms of, kind of like those Grand Prix races. When the horse gets to the lead, it's not going to give it up.
Yeah.
What do you like in race 4?
Well, I like number 2, D Black Mamba. He finished in the money in 7 out of the last 8 races at Parx Racing. So he likes the track. He's won his last race there and drops in class today. Then I like number 1 as my second choice, One Slick Start. He had a disappointing finish in his last race after experiencing trouble. The rail post is winning at an 18% clip, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like number 9, Large. He ran second versus similar in his last race, switches to a high percentage winning jockey, and he has the highest last race speed rating, actually tied with another horse. And then I like number 4, American Forces. He drops in class today, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and has a trainer who wins 18% of the races when he ships a horse in to race.
Yeah, I agree with Charles' assessment here. It's going to be a rough card today at Parx. It's deep, a lot of horses, a lot of mud, a lot of slop. It's just going to be one of those kind of like little kid cards when they see the rain and they go dancing around in the mud puddles, Terry.
Yeah.
Deep cards. You don't know what what all that water is going to mean on the track. Charles is leaning towards outside speed. For me in race number 4, I'm leaning towards the 2 horse in here. The Black Mamba at Parx 6 times out. 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds at the distance 3 times with a win and a couple of thirds. Did tie for the top last 3 speed figure and dropping in class, Terry. You know how I like those class drops off the top last race speed figure.
Yes.
Number 9, Large, is the other to tie for that last race speed mark. Has the best early pace, late pace combination in the field. And if you look a little bit at the last race, it does have what I call a lowercase Z pattern. Early pace here, just a little bit of a drop in the middle pace, and then picked it back up at the end. I kind of like the capital Z's a little bit better. Number 1, One Slick Start, is a left arrow horse. Could get up on the lead here today, and without the kickback, could benefit. Seems to run okay first time off of the bench, just like today. Some good workouts getting ready for this spot. And then finally, number 7, Splitsville. Tough call over to 3 for me, but the 7 horse has better numbers on and off track, which is exactly what we're going to see here today. Race number 5, as we power through the Parx card, has 6 furlongs. It's the only 6 furlong race on the card today. It's claiming 7,500, non-winners of 1 in a year. And if we take again a look at what the pace looks like for 6 furlongs, we see here that the first call. So again, it looks like you want to be the rail or maybe a little bit outside today, Charles. 4 and 5 might have an advantage today because you don't know how that water is going to puddle around the rail. But one thing is for sure, you want to probably be in the front too, because 28% of the time, horses that were first won, second won. So that adds up to 56.5%. That's a big number. Almost all of them were won in the first 4. 39 races with the average odds of 6-1, median odds of 5-2. That tells me race 5, Terry, might be one where we can find a little bit of value. We look again at race 5. We see, again, I think another significant scratch in the 5 horse because it did have the 2 and furlong edge. 6 is out, one that has a little bit of early pace. So I think you might going to see the 3 horse maybe pop up in here. If you look down here, a little note, all but the 2 have similar early pace and late pace combinations, meaning it's going to be a competitive race, I feel, Terry. Mm-hmm. And if you look here, the 4 does have a little bit of a late pace advantage, at least 5 points higher than the next highest horse, according to how I grade them. How do you see race 5 playing out?
Well, I like as my top choice, number 7, This Round's Mine. She won her last race at Penn National and has a trainer-jockey combination who in the last 14 days have got a perfect record, 2 starts, 2 wins. Then I like number 1 as my second choice, Boca Royale. She has finished in second in her last 2 races at Parx Racing and has won 25% of her starts at Parx Racing. And then number 4, Turpipia, I guess.
Yeah,
she does well. Yeah, she does well at Parx Racing, and the distance shouldn't be a problem. And then number 2, Mrs. Cruz. She drops in class today and likes Parx Racing.
All right. In race number 5 for me, the first pick, I'm going to start off with 7. This Round is Mine. This is a sort of nothing, all or nothing horse at Parx. Ran 11 times, 3 wins with a third. Trainer Luis Linder wins at 23% when he keeps a horse in the claiming ranks versus 17% overall for Mr. Linder, which is what I call an alpha angle. Number 1, Boca Royalty. Rail is doing okay in the last month. I think this one's going to be involved early and all the way through, which fits the track bias. Number 3, Southern Sense. It could be the pace setter now with the 5 scratching out and did show better early interest last time, improving its 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. Finally, number 4, excuse me, I was going to put the 7 in twice. That won't work. The 4 horse does have a late pace edge, 4 wins and 50 career starts, Terry.
Wow.
So not a big winner, but half of those wins, 2 of them, came in only 8 races in an off track. So it looks to me like this might be one that likes to run when it's wet.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Sounds like it to me too. Later on today, before we go on the race 6, Terry, let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going to happen tonight. Tonight, Sean and I will return for Horse Center at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will have on Dana Whitney, has over 4,000 career wins and 16% win totals for his career. That'll be on at 8 o'clock. The best way to make sure you don't miss that, Terry, is to do what?
Well, you subscribe on YouTube and hit the little bell so you get notified. And then you follow us on Twitter at Horse Race 2 Day. Like us on Facebook at Horse Race 2 Day, and Instagram at Horse Race 2 Day.
Absolutely, 100% correct. That's how we do it. So make sure it's going to be a big week. We got a lot of great guests. I think we have Jamie Rodriguez coming on. Jaime Rodriguez, who he's just been not leaving any wins for anybody else at Parx of late.
That's right. He's been doing really well.
He's winning like every race over there. The guy's on fire. All right, race number 6, Terry. 6.5 furlongs, claiming $25,000 for a purse of $40,000. Again, now quick take a look at what it looks like. Let me pull this up on the screen here. For race number 6, 6.5 furlongs, we see that, again, it's a pretty fair race. Post position, -2, but 1 through 6 seems to have a pretty similar win rate. Only 9 races in the last month. Average odds 9-2, median odds 5-2. So probably stay pretty close to the vest there. The bettors usually aren't that far off. Looks like it's fair in terms of pace, so you can get yourself a win no matter where you're getting started. It's a pretty even race, I think. Race 6, again, one where we got some scratches. I don't know how significant they're going to be. The 7 is out. The 1 is out. That's not too many. We have a 4-horse here that's going to be on the lead, Terry. Has a plus advantage, meaning at least 5 points better than the next closest horse at the 2 and 4 furlong marker. So it could be as much as a length ahead for the first half mile of the race. What do you like in race number 6?
I like the number 8 horse to start with. Back at you. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a trainer jockey combination who in the last 14 days has done really, really good. They've been in money 15 out of 21 times and won 10 of those races.
That sounds good to me.
It is good, yeah. Mm-hmm. And number 2, Smarty John, he comes to Parx Racing to try it for the first time and has a good trainer and jockey. And then I like number 4, Center Mid Maddie. He finished in the money in 4 out of 7 starts at Parx Racing. And this distance won't be a problem for him. He's shown he can handle it in the past. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Hotspot. He figures to improve while returning to dirt and has a trainer who wins 17% of the races when going from a route to a sprint.
So I'm going to start this one as my long shot of the day, Terry. That's number 4, Center Mid Maddie. Your third pick, as I mentioned in the pace worksheet, this does have a early pace advantage through the first half mile of the race. Showed some improvement in the first part of the race last time out. Major drop in here. Last time out, ran against a horse named Scaramouche. Scaramouche, can you hear the fandango? A little bit of Queen, but if you remember, Terry, Scaramouche came back to win at a nice price at that really big day of the Pennsylvania Derby in a stakes race. So maybe that's a key race. Number 8, your top choice, my second choice. Back at you. Got Jamie Ness and Ruben Silvera. You can never overlook this combination at Parx. But if you look at that last race, it was an absolute mess. This horse is going to have to rebound in his third start off a layoff. Number 2, Smarty John, my third choice. It's making his first try at Parx. It is a track dropper. This is one that gets really courageous if he's close to the lead in the stretch. So if he can get out of the gates with a little bit of giddy up and go and stay that way, might see him take it all the way wire to wire. And then finally, number 3, Hotspot. Some of the most late pace in the field. Only been on an off track one time, Terry. And you know what he did?
Won.
He won, baby. Yes, indeed. So maybe a horse for the wet course. Race 7, we go back to 1 mile and 70 yards. This one is a maiden special weight, $60,000. And we can just quickly recap what it looks like at 1 mile and 70 yards. Probably the most prominent bias that we're going to see all day at 1 mile and 70 yards is that the horse that's gotten the lead at the first call over the last month has won 45% of the races. That's a big number, Terry. Usually they come from an inside 3 draw. So we got any inside fast horses? I pressed the wrong one, opened up the wrong one. Here we go. Race number 7. Only one scratch in here. That is the 8 horse. We have a left arrow horse with the 6. It's a pressure horse whose normal running style should put him pretty close to the early pace. Probably going to run up there with the 7. Those 2 horses, I think, are likely to be your pace setters in here. It's going to be an interesting spot. You see a couple of horses. Most of these horses, a lot of them with the sideways arrow, meaning they're running at the same level that they ran last time. A couple of them here, like the 2, the 5, the 1, are actually moving up in class, which I think is kind of a difficult task at times when you're in these maiden ranks. How do you see race number 7?
Okay, well, I start out with number 3, Victor's Valiant. He has finished in the money in 6 out of 9 starts this year, and he has an early speed running style that will help the chances in today's race. And then number 5, Strong Light. He has finished in 3rd in his last 3 races in a row. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a good workout on September 27th.
What number was that, Terry?
Number 5.
5. Okay. Yeah, I was putting up Charles' comment. My apologies.
Okay, it's all right. Then I like number 7 as my 3rd pick, Golden Wildcat. He has a high percentage winning jockey, has the highest last race speed rating, and a trainer who wins 25% of the races when running a horse in a maiden special week claiming race. And then I like number 9, Marvelous Moon Dance. He finished in the money in 4 out of 6 starts this year, and has a jockey in last 7 days who's been in the money 11 out of 20 starts, winning 6 of those and 4 seconds plus a third.
So going back, Sean gave us his play of the day in race number 3. Charles is giving us his play of the day in race number 7. So Mr. E.F. Hutton of Horse Racing says he's going to try to catch a nice price here. Race number 7 with the 8 horse, Terry. Second start coming in from Ellis Park. Thinks he's going to relish the off track, making the 7 horse in the 8 horse in race number 7. Charles, play of the day.
Wow.
So for me in race number 7, neither one of us have that 8 horse. I think I looked at that one, but number 7, Golden Wildcat, showed major early pace improvement in its last start. As we look at, the reason why the 8 doesn't in here is because I think he scratched Harry, right? That's why I had him and I took him out, Charles.
Yeah,
So,
that's an 8th race or
race number 7.
No, I don't see him. I don't see that he's scratched, but
In race 7?
No, I don't see that.
Oh, did I mess something up here?
Let me look at my glasses on here.
Oh, I don't have him in here. Race 7, the 8 horse. Oh, he hasn't scratched. All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Did I knock him out?
Wait a minute. Race 7, the 8 did scratch. No, he's the first start. No, he's the first start reported as a gelding. That's
why I screwed that up. All right. Yeah. So I did actually have the 8 horse in my picks in here. So I'm going to go with the 7 horse as my, I can't believe I screwed that up. All right. Anyway, the 7 horse is going to be my top pick in here. That is the Golden Wildcat. Showed major improvement in the early pace last time out. Has a nice bullet workout since then. Number 3, Victor's Valiant is my second choice in race number 7. I like the fact that he was better across the board in his last race, meaning his 2, 4, and late pace figures were better than they were in the previous start. Number 9 is my third choice. That one is Marvelous Moon Dance at Parx, 3 times 2 seconds. At the distance, 3 times 2 seconds. I'm going to stick with my 6 horse in here instead of the 8 horse. Sorry, Charles. That's going to be Only God Can Judge Me. This is my left arrow horse, man. I tell you, on the weekend, Terry, I was going through some bets, and those left arrow horses were winning right and left for me, even at some nice prices. So I think I'm going to trademark that left arrow horse. I've come up with my own handicapping angle, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but certainly been a winning thing lately for me. So I'm going to go 7, 3, 9, and 6 in race number 7.
All righty.
Race number 8 is a 1 mile and an eighth. Supposed to be on the turf, but guess what, Terry?
Yeah, it's taking it off because it's raining so hard there.
Not on the turf, so it's probably going to be 1 mile and 70 yards, I think, if they run on the main track there. Maybe a little bit, maybe 1 mile and a 16th. If it is 1 mile and a 16th, we went over the 1 mile and 70 yards. 1 mile and a 16th is going to be the last race on the card. So you can see here, they've run 3 of them. Really not a whole lot to work off of. but all three were won by horses that were either first or second at the first call. So maybe speed will be the way. I think I agree with Charles today. I think speed in this mess is going to be a very important factor, probably the most important factor of the day. Every jockey we've talked to said horses cannot stand the backsplash in the mud. 5 horse is a left arrow horse in here, meaning it's one that typically likes to close, but its early pace is going to put him way up here, has a plus advantage at the half-mile marker. The 7 horse, one that likes to be close to the front, has the top early pace and late pace combination advantage. I think this is another one of those races, Terry, where just about anything could happen. What do you see happening in race number 8?
Well, in 8, I actually like the number 7 horse, Wolfie's Dynaghost. And he won his last race at Colonial Downs. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He has a high percentage winning jockey. Then number 8, Tax, is my second choice. He's won 2 out of the last 4 races, drops in class today, and has a bullet workout on September 25th. Then number 6, Mr. Einstein, is my third choice. He has finished in the money. And
that name after you, Harry? Larry? I'm Harry, Larry. Terry, man. Yeah. I got 3 chances to get it right. Harry, Larry, Terry. It's kind of like the old Three Stooges.
That's right. And I kind of like that sometimes. But anyway, he finished in the money in his last 8 starts at Parx Racing, winning 2 of those starts, and is always very competitive. And then number 5 is my fourth choice, Mount Sukabaki. He has won 4 out of 6 starts at Parx Racing and has a good jockey.
That's a great thing to develop your own edge, Rich. I like it. Creatively speaking, it's only advantage one can get in the rest of the field if it's working at a price. You had some nice prices hit the other day at Santa. I put 2 on Saturday. I tweeted out there were 2 left arrow horses. The 4 horse was a heavy favorite. I actually missed the race because in the race prior to that, Master of Foxhounds was 2-1, but there was a pretty heavy morning line favorite. It was a left arrow horse, went on to win. And then the 4 horse in the next race was like 4-5. And then the 6 horse in the race after that went on to win. And it was, I think, 5-1. So it was 3 for 3 on that morning, which I got off to a really hot start in the Santa Anita contest, but unfortunately the hot start going to a cold end. But I still had a chance to win both of them at the last 2 races if my horses came through. But unfortunately, they didn't cooperate with me, Terry.
Oh, boy.
But, you got to pay those price horses sometimes. And I went away from horses that I thought would be the favorites with some prices that might have a chance, but it didn't work out. Anyway, number 7 is my first choice in this race, in race number 8, the stakes race on the card. If we look at Wolfie's Dynaghost, probably going to be near the lead, does have the top early pace and late pace combination. Ran for the top last race speed figure last time out, and the resume says that this race will be better than the last one in the second start off the break. Number 3, Sugar Ray 2, is a main track only entrant, is the other to tie for the top last race speed figure, and has performed really well on a wet track. Number 8, Tax, owned, I don't know if it was still owned by good friends Dean and Patty Reeves from Reeves Racing. I know that Danny Gargan and Randy, the Ain't No Party Like a Randy Party, if you remember that, Terry.
Yeah,
he owns that horse. That one's definitely going to be fast, going to be involved in the mix from beginning to end. And then finally, number 5, Mount Surabachi, is a left arrow horse that does have an early pace advantage through the first 4 furlongs. We'll see if maybe we can catch an edge with that one too, Charles. I think race number 8 also cleans up the first pick 4 for us. Is that right, Terry?
It's correct, yeah.
And that is the hot dog pick 4. Walk us through your thinking here.
Well, I like I actually had the 5th race. I actually started out with 5 horses, but there was a couple of scratches there. So now I have the 1, 4, 7, and actually in the 6th race I have the 2, 8. I don't know. I guess I didn't change that. And then I think this 7th race is so wide open, as you can tell. I like the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And then I'm going to key the 7 as just a single. So
another thing, Charles, I found worked, and for those that looking for handicapping angles, one of the things I pay a lot of attention to, coming from a stock market background, is what I call alpha angles. I'm going to trademark that one too, or copyright it. But and I look specifically for alpha angles with trainers. So if a trainer typically wins, if you look at his top line and you look at their top line, say they run 100 races and they won 16 of them. So they have a 16% winning rate. Then if you look through some of the other angles, say he's taking the horse from turf to dirt, and the trainer wins at 22% of the time with that surface switch. Well, 22% is much better than 16%. So that's what they call in the stock market vernacular alpha, when you're outperforming. So I look for specific angles where the trainer outperforms his winning normal overall winning percentage, and I call those alpha angles. And hopefully we have an outperformance with my pick 4 here, Terry, because in race number 6, it's do or die for both of us, because I'm singling the 4 there. Yep. I'm hoping that its early pace advantage is enough to take that horse wire to wire and make me a winner in the hot dog pick 4, and for you to be wallowing in your tears.
And of course, you can see that either one of us can win, but not both.
Yes, and well, hopefully one of us can win. I hope one of us wins.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to move on to race number 9, Terry. That race number 9 is my best bet of the day. Race 9 is also a stakes race, and here it is, the Liberty Bell Stakes, 6.5 furlongs for $100,000. And we look at 6.5 furlongs, Terry, to see a little bit what we're dealing with here. There have been 9 races, not that many of them. Again, we see that it doesn't really matter where you get cracking out of here. You can be in the front, you could be in the middle, in the back. Post position doesn't look like it matters all that much either. And in race number 9, I think I got to go over here this time. I do. We have the 6 horse scratched. I don't think he's first time gelded, Terry, so I hope I got that right.
Yeah, I think you did. So,
and you see here, you got a lot of possible early pace in here, because all but the 4 and the 8 either want to pressure the lead or be on the lead. You see the 4 horses here that are squared off, the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 7. These are all horses that are likely to compete for the lead, so they're going to be running fast. Of these, the 5 horse could prove to be the speed of the speed, because it does have the most late pace out of any horse in this field. All right, take us through the race 9.
Oh, race 9 for me. Are we on race 9 or race 8?
We just did race 8.
Oh, we did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I forgot there's 12 races today. Anyway, right. Race 9 for me, the number 5 is my first pick, For the Love of Bourbon. I like bourbon.
Bourbon or Scotch? What's the difference, Terry?
I don't know. I've never drank Scotch, really. I've just drink bourbon. So
or is it whiskey? I'm not sure. Which one? What bourbon and whiskey are they supposed to be? I don't drink.
I think they're the same, aren't they? Bourbon and whiskey.
I have no idea. All right. Anyway,
I think they are. Well, anyway, he won his last 4 races at Parx Racing and has jockey Paco Lopez, who in the last 7 days have won 6 out of 20 starts.
What number was that again?
Number 5.
Oh, you're still on number 5. Okay.
And he has a good 5 furlong workout on 24th of September. Then I like number 2, Burin. He ran second in his last race as a favorite, but this trainer wins 33% of the time when he brings a beaten favorite back to race again, and he has a good workout on September 26th. And I like number 7, Repo Rocks. He ran second in his last race, has best dirt speed, is fastest among today's starters. And then number 1, 5 Dreams. He won his last 2 races in a row at Parx, so he's going for a hat trick. And the rail post is winning at a 20% clip.
So Charles says in race, let's see, hold on. Race number 8, watch out if the bias predictions are correct. 7, 8, exact the box in race number 8 for Charles. Charles says he looks for convergence of different angles at a price synergy angle. So do you mean like you have a couple of different angles that are working simultaneously? So maybe a horse is, showed some early pace, going to have the early pace, and the trainers does really well at this particular thing. So you got 2 or 3 different things pointing to that horse. And then yet the horse is at a price. So I'm curious too, what people define as a price, Terry. Where do you see a price starting at? 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1, double digit odds? Where do you look for in terms of price?
I like price to me is 5 to 1 or higher. So
yeah, Charles says that's exactly what I'm looking at. What about for you, Charles? What do you think is a price? 5 to 1 or higher? Seems to me that's kind of like the consensus number, but everybody there's a little bit different view on that kind of stuff. What do you guys think that are watching? Do you like where do you start to put in the comment section where you think value begins in terms of odds? For me in race number 9, Terry, my best bet of the day is, it's probably the best bet of the day for a lot of people, Terry, right? For the
Yeah.
love of bourbon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't drink no more, so that's not my best bet of the day in that respect, but has won 4 in a row, loves to run at the Ben Salem track, 16 times at Parx, won 10 of them, Terry, and did do that exactly in the last race with the top last race speed figure. Number 2, Baron, finished top behind the top 2 picks. The top pick, they've run against each other twice, I think in the last 4 or 5 races. Finished second behind them both times. Has a couple of nice workouts since that last race where they paired up. So maybe it's enough to get Baron by for the love of bourbon. I don't know. And then we just flip-flop our next 2 horses. I like the 1-5 Dreams instead of the 7. Winner of 2 blowouts in a row after coming off the bench. Better fractions in last start. So maybe a chance to put it up a notch in race number 3 after a layoff, that classic handicapping angle. Then finally, number 7, Repo Rocks, 2 for 2 at the distance and is a very consistent performer. Race 10, Terry. Oof, man, this is a long card today, right?
It is, but we're moving pretty quickly. So
Charles says he likes 4-1. That's where he starts his value horses. Race number 10. Have I gone down that far? All right. Race 10, Terry, is a 1 mile and an 1/8 on the turf. They're not going to run a mile and an 1/8 on the turf, are they, Terry?
no, they're not, because it's off the turf today. So
yeah. So and they really haven't run a whole lot of races. The mile and 70 yards is the longest. Is the one that they run most frequently at a long distance. I don't know if that's what they're going to run here, a mile and 70 yards. But if they do run a mile and 70 yards, we saw a bunch of those already today. And the key there was speed. So I think speed's going to be the key again at a mile and 70 yards. 45% of the horses won that were on the at the first call. And you see a heavy dose of inside 3. If we take a look at the pace worksheet for race number 10, again, we catch a really, I think they were expecting obviously different conditions when they put the horses in here. But look at all these horses that like to be towards the middle or the back, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. The 3 horse in here scratched out. I think that's really not that big of a deal. 14, I think, is a big deal because that one might have been your favorite. A 5 horse now probably going to catch some early pace. And the 7 horse might now be one that kind of moves over. Left Arrow horse that also has some late pace and some of the best combination of early speed and late speed. All right, Terry, race number 10 is your long shot. Am I box it up? Why is this pick your long shot?
Well, first of all, I had a hard time finding a long shot because almost every horse that I liked on top was 4-1 or less. But I like
chalk player.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes
I know how you love when people harass you for taking chalk, Terry. That's why
it doesn't bother me at all because to me, if it pays even money, you made 100% of your money, and can you do that in 2 minutes? Mm-hmm. Anyway, I like number 5, Gravitron. She won her last race and has 4 out of the last. She won her last race and won 4 out of the last 6 races at Parx Racing. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey and a good workout on September 28th. And then number 16, Sweet Wilhelmina. She finished 3rd on the dirt in her last race. So now it's on the dirt. That's good. And switches to a high percentage winning jockey. Number 7, Deciding Vote.
All right. Are you in my computer again, Terry?
I think I am. Yeah. Anyway, she finished 6th after being blocked and going wide into the stretch. So I have to throw that race out. And her last race, but now she's always close and always seems to be in the mix. Mm-hmm. And then I like number 11, Tightly Twisted. She switches to a high percentage winning jockey, has the highest race speed at today's rating. It has the highest last race speed. And the shipper wins 17% of the time. The trainer does when he ships a horse in. Finished 3rd in the last race. So that's my take on this one.
So box it up. We have the same 4 horses in the same order. Gravitron put for me was undefeated in the pair on Parx on turf. Has plenty of early pace in the card, full of, as we showed, pressure and closers. So I think on the mud, he's going to get forwardly placed and have a shot to come home as your long shot, Terry. Number 6, 16 Wilhelmina. This is a track dropper from Saratoga, but last 4 at Parx, ran there 4 times, all on the dirt, were easy wins. So I think he'd challenge your 5 horse for the W there. Number 7, Deciding Vote. 3rd choice in here. as you mentioned, should be closing late, has some of the best early pace late combination in the field, and tends to run well when it had a little bit of time to barn to rest, like today. And then Tightly Twisted, the 11, did run the top last race speed figure. That was at the quirky Kentucky Downs. Today, I think, is one that should be a little bit better in the third race following a short layoff. Race number 11, Terry. This one is a 6.5 furlong roaming Rachel Stakes. We've been through that a couple of times already in terms of what the pace looks like. 6.5 furlongs being one. I know that was, 6.5 furlongs being one where it doesn't really matter where you are coming off of the gate. Doesn't matter your pace type. Just matters that you're a good horse. Let's see, last three races. Last three are all stakes race. Pick 3 will be the observed bias with focus, post, and speed. Jack Collins says race 2, Compounded, Super Saver, and Parx Mud. Good combination. Thanks, Jack. If like Jack and Charles and Sean, you have some ideas that you want to share with us today for their horses that are running at Parx or anywhere for that matter, please make sure you fill us in because, again, it's a community that's looking for winners. Race number 11, Terry, 6.5 furlongs again. For those of you who haven't been along with this for the whole show, 6.5 furlongs looks a little bit like this because we kind of jump around a little bit. You see, again, early pace. It does look to me like you want to be a little bit faster than not, but it's not overkill. Post position doesn't really look like it matters. Odds average 9-2, 5-2 in the last month. They've run 9 of those races. Race 11, our pace worksheet here, unlike the last race, we see a whole lot of horses that want to be forwardly placed. A 6-horse and 9-horse scratched out. My left arrow horse belongs to the 10 here, a pressure closer that could get a pretty quick pace that sits behind it. Here we see the 2, the 11, the 8, the 3, the 7, the 4, and the 1 have similar late pace numbers. The 3, the 11, the 1, the 7, and the 2 similar if you combine the early pace and late pace. This is the definition of a competitive race, Terry. How do you break this competitiveness down?
Okay, well, first of all, let me say that the first race just went off at Parx, and the 8 led all the way and won by about 3 or 4 lengths. The 2 ran second, 6 ran third, and I think the 3 ran fourth.
So. All right, so I got the trifecta, and we both had the exactas. So
yep.
Race 11 is your best bet.
All right, I've got number 8, Chub Wagon, and I love this horse. This horse, she's never been out of the money in her career. She's won 12 out of 14 starts, and she has the best dirt speed among today's starters. Then I like number 11, Bourbon Bombay. She is undefeated.
You and the bourbon today, Terry.
That's it. Anyway, she's undefeated in 3 career starts, winning the last race at Parx Racing. Then number 1, Oksana. She ran second in her last race, switches to a high percentage winning jockey who in the last 7 days has a record of, 11 out of 20 starts. And then the Rail Post is winning at 20% clip. Then number 3, Dr. B. She won her last race, has a high percent winning trainer and jockey, and a good 4 furlong workout.
Chub Wagon, as you mentioned, Terry, 14 times out at the track. I think it's won 12 of them in 2 seconds. At Parx, 9 times out, but those 2 seconds did come at Parx. But 3 times been at the distance, won all 3 of them. I don't think there's really a whole lot to say after that. I guess I'm on the bourbon wagon again today. Well, we're exactly the same in these last 2 races. That's kind of strange. Bourbon Bay, undefeated in 3, 2 for 2 at the distance, better fractions last out, though stepping up in class a little bit here. So a little bit concerned about that. Number 1, Oksana should compete for the lead all the way around the track, rides the high winning rail, and has done well at Parx 2, 3 times out, 2 wins and a third. And then finally, number 3, Dr. B. This is another Parx burner, 7 times at Parx, 4 wins, 2 thirds, better fractions in the early part of its last race, Terry. And along with it being your best bet of the day, race 8 smoked them. Like outside speed check, just like you had thought. I was going to make the 8 my best bet of the day too, but I didn't want to do it in the first race. But you remember, if we go back to the pace worksheet, again, we talked a little bit about in race number 1, how the 8-horse was early speed. And this is why, to me, these pace worksheets really help a lot. And with the arrow, it was the only true dropper in the field. So a lot of things that worked to its advantage there. All right. So anyway, race number 12 coming up. But before we do that, don't despair. The best bet of the day, the picks with the professor. There is a link below in the description here in YouTube, as well on Facebook and on Twitter. Please make sure you follow us on all of our social sites. If you like what Terry and I are doing today or anything that we ever do, we really appreciate the thumbs up. It helps us a lot with the technology company's algorithms, moves us up the rankings. The more rankings we get, the more followers get, the happy we are. Parlays of the day. He's really kind of struggling a little bit with the parlays of the day. So you might want to watch the video so you can get all of his Major League Baseball plays of the day. That you can find over on YouTube as well and at the Picks with the Professor's website. So make sure that you do that. Back to race number 12, Terry. Race 12, the final race on the card, is a 1 1/16 on the main track. As we mentioned a little bit, they've only run 3 races. All 3 were won by horses that were in the either first or second at the first call. Really not a lot in terms of data there to really make any hard assessments. If we look at the pace setup here, we do see that the 5-horse scratched, which was one that could be amongst the early leaders, if not the early leader. But the 1 horse is our left arrow horse in here, Terry. It is a pressure horse that does have an early pace advantage of at least 5 points the way I calculate it at the half-mile marker. So on the front, kicking mud back on everybody else. We see that the 8 horse in here scratched out as well. The 4 horse could be one that gets a great trip as the lone pressure closer horse, has the top late pace figures and the top combination of early speed and late pace. So probably sits right off the leaders and then looks to pounce at the end. How are you going to end the show today, Terry, in terms of race number 12 picks?
Okay, I like as my first choice, number 6, Mischievous Jones. He won his last race at Parx Racing and has a bullet workout on September 28th. And then I like number 4, Angelia Blue. He finished third in his last race at Parx Racing. He has the highest last speed rating, has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. And he has a trainer wins 33% of the time with a horse in its second start with that trainer. So he marks a lot of boxes off. Mm-hmm. And then number 2 is my third pick. He's So Subtle. He ran second in his last race, has a trainer wins 23% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back to race again. And he's got a trainer jockey combination who in the last 14 days have won 2 out of 2 starts. And I like number 9, True Dakotan. He finished.
True Dakotan, like from North or South Dakota?
Okay, that Dakotan, yeah. He finished in 4th in his last race after experiencing trouble during the race and was claimed by a high percent winning trainer.
All right. The last race for me, we finally are a little bit different. I don't know what was going on today in those last few races, but we do have some commonality here, at least in the first 4. Just a little different order. The 2 horse, He's So Subtle, was the favorite last time out. Just missed at that. Going to be better, was better in the first half of the race, which is an indication of a horse that might be improving. Mischievous Jones was better across the board. 2, 4 late pace space figures were all better. But I'm just not a big fan of maiden claiming risers coming out in the next spot, making it 2 wins in a row. But does have some nice workouts getting ready for the first start since June 15th. Number 4, Angeli Blue, is a track dropper. Did run the top last race speed figure and done well at the distance. 5 times, 3 wins, and a third. And finally, number 1, the last pick of the Parx day, Por Supuesto, left arrow horse with a 4 pace, at early has a plus edge at the 4 furlong marker. I think benefits a lot with the 5 scratching in this race, likely to be one that moves forward. It's also going to be, Terry, the prime rib pick for the day. And again, you kind of went crazy.
Yeah, I did because, like I said, I really like Chubb's Wagon, and so I'm just taking a chance that he's going to. She's going to win that race. So I went with 6 horses. Then I keyed the 8, and then I went with another 6 horses. So
Charles says he needs to make money today up for the Broncos loss. Yeah, they crushed me too. I couldn't believe how they played. And then the kicker just kind of screwed up their entire day by missing that extra point and getting them off a 1-score game to a 2-score game. And their defense couldn't stop me. And then, all right, have a great day. Again, align the synergy angles, cashing tickets. Good luck. Thank you. We appreciate you joining us today. Charles, All right, Terry. That wraps up all of our picks. Real quickly, let's run through everything again. Race number 1 is in the books. So from race number 2 is Terry's Box It Up. My Box It Up is in race number 10. So our Box It Up is where we take 4 horses, put them together in a $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Terry's best bet of my long shot's race number 6, the 4-horse. Terry's long shot, race number 10, the 5-horse. The best bet for me is race number 5, the 5-horse. So it sounds like 5's better to do good today, Terry.
Yeah.
Number 11, Chub Wagon, is your best bet of the day. Our hot dog pick 4 is coming up in race number 5. Both of us spending $18. Terry is very punctual with the dot and the cents. I forgot. You can tell which one of us does like the accounting, right?
Yeah. I had to do a lot of that with my a business before I retired. So
yeah, I just put $18. Don't worry about the pennies. And then race numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12. A lot of stakes races for that late pick 4. Hopefully we can come home. We can both come home in this one. We both can't have our way with the early hot dog pick 4. And if you're going to play today over at Finger Lakes, another track today that's probably a little bit on the wet side. It looks like it's fast today in that part of New York. All right. It is our free track of the day over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Please, there's a link down below. Use that or any link you see at horseracingtoday.net. Terry and I will put our picks over there along with our race notes. You'll find them every day at horseracingtoday.net. I'll also upload my pace sheets so you can see the post positions, the biases, as well as the how they get to the winner's circle sheet that we go through with the early pace and all that sort of stuff. Number 1 at Finger Lakes, Funny Pursuit, was a best bet at 5 to 5 morning post position 5, morning line 2-1. All right, Terry, any final thoughts before we get up and out of here today?
Yeah, just to hope that everybody has a really good week this week and that things, the weather doesn't affect people like it's been affecting them. And I just, want you to have a great week and love your loved ones. So that's it.
Yes, indeed. 3 things for the week today. Try to just be a little bit better from today to tomorrow. One of those goals that you need to do. Maybe eat a little bit better, maybe work out a little bit. That thing that's in the back of your mind gnawing at you saying, come on, let's do this. Today's the day to get started on that, Terry. And also today is a good day to make somebody around you laugh or smile, because they say if you smile or you laugh, it releases the endomorphines and you become a happier person. And
That's
happiness will spread. Of course, anything else that you do, Terry, whether you're at work, whether you're at play, whether you're at Parx in the rain, or you're somewhere in sunny Southern California or Northern California like Terry, we hope that no matter what you do, it ends up in one place, and that can only be
the winner's circle.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for joining us today, Terry, and I'll be back the same time tomorrow where we will cover Horseshoe Indianapolis. Have a fantastic Muddy Monday.